Welcome to Season 4 of the Knack for Business podcast.
We have a question for you in the audience. How do you actually sell or scale your business without wasting years, losing money, or burning out? And that's the problem Tahir will talk about and how to reinvent, grow, or exit a business in a smart way. He'll share his journey from humble beginnings through setbacks to launching sellanybiz.com, an AI-powered platform that connects buyers and sellers. So our guest today is Tahir Kashif from Sell Any Biz. Tahir is the CEO of Selling. I'm going to kind of reverbalize that. Tahir is the CEO of Sell Any Biz and founder of IFSG Group, with ventures spanning the UAE and beyond. His entrepreneurial story began in 2008 when he just turned $10,000 and a job earning $1,000 a month in a pizza shop into a multi-million-dollar business employing 500 people. By 2015, his business was generating over $4 million a year. In 2017, Tahir faced a life-changing epilepsy diagnosis. Life-changing epilepsy diagnosis that forced him to step back from daily operations and cost him dearly. But instead of stopping, he reinvented himself. He transformed IFSG into a franchise-driven global group and later launched sellanybiz.com, an AI-powered platform that connects entrepreneurs, buyers, and sellers to simplify business transactions. Today, he continues to expand his ventures, inspiring others through his resilience, innovation, and ability to turn setbacks into reinvention. Tahir, absolute pleasure having you here, sir. Welcome. Do you have a favorite quote or saying, sir?
Thank you, Bernie. Thank you for having me. And I can say that I'm absolutely honored for me to have you here with you and Wayne, your podcast. And I must say that you guys are doing a fantastic job. I think often the entrepreneurs, they are not, properly represented or heard, their struggle, what the things they've done. And you are really doing a fantastic job to provide a platform to people to speak out and share their stories and, the journey. So other people can get inspiration from, and be part of it. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Absolute pleasure.
Can you take us back to your origin story? Open it up. Tell me about a cleaning truck and opened your first business.
I grew up in Scotland. I was born in Pakistan, and then I moved at a very young age to Scotland. And I lived there for a few years, and let's say something happened, and then I had to travel to Dubai. And I was here on a holiday and just had no plan to stay. And then one day, so basically the Dubai was growing that time. So I moved to Dubai in 2008. 2008, people who know about Dubai or, Dubai, that was the time when Dubai was booming, pre-financial crisis, before the financial crisis hit the market. So Dubai was booming, real estate was fantastic. So I came here from a very quiet, sleepy town from Scotland. In middle of Scotland, 1,500 people, full of snow, cold. Then when I arrived, I was 19, 20 that time. But when I arrived at Dubai airport, the city was, buzzing. There were like people, everybody was making money, and there was a lot of activity. And I was like, this is the place I want to be. That's the place I want to, live. And I've been an entrepreneur from a very young age. So I set up an account on Alibaba.com back in 2003 when I was only 15, try to sell leather products, I just opened an account called Cash Import and Export. That's my last name. And then I tried to, contact all the sellers in China and ask them the prices, and then find people in UK and see if there's a margin to be made. It never, kicked off. I was just doing that stuff. Then eventually I got a break when I got my driving license. So I bought a Toyota Corolla car, which was like £500, 1996 or 1997 Toyota Corolla, very old one. I bought it on ebay.co.uk. That was the marketplace back then to buy and sell cars and other products. And just to find out, after a week, I was in a garage every other day. So it would break down in the middle, and then I was just back in the garage, and then decided to sell it. So I bought it for 550 or 600, and I sold it for 900, £300 profit in a week. I was like, wow, this could be a great business. And then I start trading this car. Then I bought a few other cars and I bought it, I sold it. So that was my first real business where I started making money. And then I lost money as well at a very young age. And because I was always looking for opportunities, so I was looking for other businesses. So while I was finding opportunity, I met a guy who was working, I don't know if you remember Herbalife. That was the company who was working with the MLM model. So it was a very very nice guy in mid kind of. So he kind of befriended me. I was very young. He said, "Oh yeah, you're a great guy. You can make money. You can make millions. You can make this. You can do that. Why don't you come to my home and let's have a talk. Let's have a coffee. I'll show you how you can make millions and blah blah blah." All right. So I met him. Very impressed. Very nice talker. Good salesperson. He said, "Okay, look, if you buy this kit for £1,500 or something, you will become a part of that network. And then if you recruit more people, you'll make money and this and that." On paper, he said it's possible that you make £10,000 a month from a year from now. Wow, it's fantastic. So the only saving I had, £1,500 from selling cars, I gave it to him. In return, he gave me a bag full of, those products from Herbalife, the product lose weight and stuff like that. And then I took back home. I tried to recruit people and sell them, but nobody bought from me because I was not a great salesperson back then. So anyway, I lost that 1,500 pretty quickly. I realized that I was, I was screwed. I was conned basically. That 1,500 pound is gone. So during that journey, while I was trying to figure out doing different things and here and there, I did only one job in my life. I was only employed once, and that job changed my life later on. That was in 2005 while I was just selling cars, become a part or sale rep for Herbalife. So, and I loved driving. So I wanted to do a job where I could drive. One day there was a small corner shop, a grocery shop around the corner where I was living. I was walking past one day and I saw an ad. So there was a window where people used to put ads, if somebody wants to sell anything or. So there's an ad. Cleaning staff required. That was in 2005. So cleaning staff required with the driving license. That's the kind of job I'm looking for. I called the lady. She answered. She said, "Hey, yeah, I'm looking for a cleaning staff. Where do you live?" I said, "I live in this street." "My office is just opposite." Great. So there was a small building, and there were like 3-4 offices in that building, and she had an office which is literally across the road from me. I said, "Oh, I live there, just across the road." I said, "Okay, why don't you come down for an interview tomorrow?" And 9 o'clock. I said, "Okay, fine, I'll be there." Day 9 a.m. I was there, and she was the only one in the office, very tiny office, and she was the only one. She said, "I'm the business owner. I just started a business, a cleaning business, and I bought a franchise for a cleaning franchise from London. Fine Home PLC, that was the name of the franchise. I don't know if they're still in business. And yeah, you'll be my first employee. Would you like to work with me?" I said, "Wow, that's great. Yeah, I would love to." So she hired me. It was winter, the coldest winter I think on record Solent had. Like we had so much snow in that winter. I remember the only thing I remember. So she hired me. She said, "Okay, now next week you're gonna start a job. The people are gonna come down from London. They're gonna train us." I said, "Okay, fine." The next week, the people from London, they came over. They started training me and her. So I had an opportunity to get training like a business owner, like how to start a business. So me and her had the same level of knowledge. So she was from an accounting background. She was an accountant in a company. She left her job because she had babies. So she wanted to do something which she can do, from home or whatever, because she wanted to spend more time with her kids. I was 18 years old who wanted to drive more. Yeah. So we wanted to get his, hands on a week. So then 1 week of training, they taught us how to do cleaning, what the color coded system is, which colors I'm going to use in the living area, which bathroom, blah, blah, how to market a business, how to do this, how to do accounting, how to do this. So the 1 week program, they train us everything about how to start a cleaning company. That's it. Then the next week, following week, we started going training. So on my boss friends' places, like she would ask a friend, "Okay, hey, I started a cleaning company. Can I come to your house and clean it for free?" And then we can. So for a couple of days, we practiced on our place, and then we visited a few. And then by side, what the company has taught us, they've given us 50,000 leaflets, 50,000 brochures, printed brochures that you need to go in the morning, go to do leafleting, and in the afternoon, you go and get yourself trained somewhere, friend's place, you open. So we started doing that early morning. I would wake up 8 o'clock. She would pick me up from the office, 8:30 we're out. It was winter, it was snow, and we used to go door to door and start, leaflets, dropping leaflets. After a few days, phone started ringing. So we started having a and then the first week we did leaflets and training in the evening. And then the next week we already have an appointment. Who would old people who were living in the area, they wanted to have a sofa clean, they wanted to have their oven cleaning and stuff like that. Okay, business started coming. Great. Within 4 weeks, we were like having at least 1 or 2 appointments a day. I would drive a car. She would sit next to me. We would go places, we'd clean, we'd come back. And then after 5th week, she hired another employee with me. So she would stay back in the office, taking calls, making invoices and stuff. Me and her would go, we'd clean, come back. After 3 months, she hired another employee. So I stayed only 4 months, and then I kind of got bored. So I drove enough and said, okay, fuck it. I don't want to do this job anymore. I'm just leaving. So that was the 4 months. So that was in 2005. So 2008, September, October, I happened to, be in Dubai. And that's the one day I was just thinking about it. It was going back of my mind. Oh, this city is really great. I want to do something here. And so initially I thought I would open a pizza shop. Why pizza shop? Because my family, one of my uncles back home was having a pizza business, and I knew this business because I've seen that business. I know how to make pizza and stuff. To learn the market, I got a job in a pizza shop. So I wanted to find a job for a few months or few weeks just to see how the market works, and then I would open a pizza shop. But then I found out, because I only had £10,000 on like $10,000 with me, and I thought I can open a pizza shop with that. But I realized in Dubai it's different. You need at least a few $100,000 to open a restaurant or pizza shop here. So then I was heartbroken. I was about to go back, and the one day I saw a cleaning van outside, parked somewhere. I said, "Oh wow, that's great! I know this business. This business can do very good in Dubai because there are so many buildings, tall buildings, and people would need cleaning." So suddenly, that the whole, the train 4 months of, that training and everything, it's just, look, this business is good. You don't need too much money in this business. I can do that business and this. So that's how I got into the cleaning business. And I went to the driver and I asked him, okay, how's that business? He said, oh, yeah, the business is very good. We're very busy. And then I got in touch with the owner of that company. And then I later on, I acquired that company, by the way, after 5 years. That's another story. Anyway, so then I became friend with the owners that were running that cleaning company. So that's how I started the cleaning company. So that's basically, it's a long background, but that's an nutshell. It was important to put everything in perspective. So then how I got into that's why I told you the whole story. How decisions you take, it might shape up your future, which you don't know. You don't realize a small decision that day, if I didn't walk to this store, probably I would be somewhere else. My whole life story would be different.
Do you find that some great life experiences, right? From the cleaning company, all right? You've gone from the multi MLM, and then you went to a cleaning company.
Okay.
Do you have any mentors since then that would help structure your space, structure your decisions on a go forward basis? Because obviously you've grown it in size, right? Stature, not physically, but business wise. Have you had a mentor come along alongside of you to help you guide?
Yes. And so I have a thing with me. I don't know why. I always attract friendship people who are at least 20 years older than me. So I don't know why. Still, my friends are in mid-50s and 60s. I've always had friends. So when I was 20, my friends were like 35, 40, 45. So I've been blessed with friends, very good friends, who has more life experience than me. I would say I had mentorship through friends who were in business and they were older than me. So they used to guide me, help me. We used to talk and stuff, but not really. I paid someone for business coaching and stuff. Apart from that, I always love to learn. I try to read as much as possible, stay on updated on latest trends and what's going on and stuff like that. I call myself student of life. I learn from life experience, and plus I always had great friends who would teach me a thing or two.
So you got this idea and you're working hard and you're excited and it's going well, maybe even better than you imagined. And then all of a sudden something happened. Maybe it was caused by you, maybe it was caused by a partner, maybe it was caused by life. But you had this setback that seemed like it's going to change everything. Maybe I'm out of business. What do I do now? Walk me through that.
Okay, the setback when I had an epilepsy.
Sure.
You straight jumped into 10 years. So you missed the middle part. That was the most exciting part. You straight away in an egg that you didn't ask me how did I reach that point where I actually just had, how did I get all this stress? I got that seizure at the age of 31 out of the blue, no family history. I mean, even when I met the doctor, he was like, "Oh, how much stress you are? What do you do? How many hours do you sleep?" And anyway, that was a huge setback. So so I started a company, business was good. The financial crisis happened. The day I registered my company, the next day the Lehman news came out, and I was like, what is this? So I spent all my money on the licensing and everything, and then the financial crisis came. What's going to happen to me? I had nothing on me. Luckily, that was also very good for other stuff. So this is another lesson for someone who wanted to start a business. When market is down, means it's a good opportunity for new business to come in, because cost of doing business becomes lower, and the bigger companies goes out of business or get busted, or they're too busy restructuring their business or things, mean there are more opportunities for. That's exactly what I had. In 2009, I was a great year for me. 2010 was even better. 2011, that's when I started in doing acquisitions. So I did my first acquisition in 2011, the same company which I helped me to set up. I acquired them. Then in 2012, I did another acquisition. 2013, I did another one. 2015, I did another one. I did 5 acquisitions. And in result, my company, which I started with 2 cleaners, by 2016, we were a company with cleaning, security, soft maintenance, HVAC, other stuff, with 500 employees on the payroll. It was a great booming business. But I was super stressed. It was a manpower intensive business, was growing month by month, 10%, 100% a year. Every year I was acquiring companies, I was structuring, I was taking debts. I was always on. And that's when, because I was overstressed, overworked, I had seizure. That's what I believe it was. I was driving on a very busy highway in Dubai where, there are 6 lanes, busy, and I just had seizure and I just passed out. And then the next thing I would remember, I was in a hospital. So not dead is itself is a miracle. So thankfully, I was driving a very nice car, Range Rover. The day I realized how safe it was, but nothing happened to me. I survived that. A very bad accident. It's completely changed my life because, that's when I got an opportunity to reflect back 10 years of my life, what I was doing. And then I realized life is too short. I mean, you can die any minute. That's the day when I actually realized that we have to die one day. Before that, I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to die. Everybody else will. I would be alive forever. I was in that state of mind, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So that made me humble. So that incident, so that's the first thing. Secondly, I took some time off, was not well. I started having regular seizures thereafter. Every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, I would go back. So basically, I lost my motivation for my work. And in result, my business started going down and, went under debt also at some point. But luckily, when I got better after 6 months, a year, I recovered. My health was improving. I stopped having seizures. I got off of the thing. And then I said, okay, I want to exit that business and I want to do something else. And I want to get into tech maybe or something else. But at first, I will exit. So then I exited that business. I sold it. And by 2019, I was out from that business. 2018, I agreed a deal. 2019, I sold. And then I got into, answering your question, coming out of that downside at a rate of time, where you are responsible of, 500 people and a business you built it over 10, 11 years of working 16, 15 hours a day, and you see that it's crumbling, and the results, you have nothing and you have to start from zero. It's a scary thought. I mean, even thinking about it, if you, because you get like, it was a tough journey.
Kudos to you, sir, for coming out of it, coming out the other side of the mountain from that, and getting back on your feet.
You're good at selling and buying businesses. And a lot of people like to know how. Are you a man that works the phones? Did you send out 1,000 emails? Did you join networking groups? What were your tools? What was in your toolbox?
Tools were networking, basically. I've been always good at networking. So, I mean, when I was acquiring businesses, I acquired businesses from my existing suppliers, like contractors. I was hiring for some of my projects. So I acquired them. All 5 companies, they were my subcontract. So I used to hire them for some project when we are short of people. So we used to basically get people from them to support us. So I acquired them later on. Basically, they were competitors, smaller competitors. So I acquired my competitors. When I sold it to one of my bigger customers. Sold it to a competitor because I was doing networking in the industry that helped me to buy businesses and exit as well. So networking is the key. To answer your question, sure.
We hear a lot about that people are interested in that I think is misunderstood is scaling. Tell me about your scaling process. I know a lot of people that buy the second restaurant and then go bankrupt. How did you 10x it?
Well, it's a good question. The first question you got to ask yourself that the business you are into, you're passionate or not. If you like that business or not. If you believe that on that business or not. And if you enjoy, that's the most. The answer is no. If you check all the boxes, then you can scale any business, either as restaurant or whatever business. There's a business model and there's a margin that it makes economic sense. You can scale it. But the first thing is, if you believe on that business so much that you're willing to give your 100%, the first question, anybody, and not everybody is an entrepreneur. Not everybody can be successful. Once you have that, then obviously you need a longer vision. You should put yourself 5 to 10 years, okay, where you want to be 5 to 10 years, and then break down into the short. Okay, so weekly plan or a monthly plan, and that's it. And then follow that. The rest comes automatically. You go live by the day. You have a vision, and just do a small progress every day. So just to make sure there is a small progress every passing day. You do one small process by bit, and then slowly you start realizing that there's a huge progress you've made when you would look at that year or a couple of years. If you make small progress, and could be anything. So yeah, there's no fixed strategy or thing. If you look, most of the successful people, they are all dropouts. University. I've seen people they cannot write even their names. They're just simple people, and they are billionaires and they're very successful. And on the other hand, you see Harvard graduates, MBAs, and all and they just can't be good business owners.
Do you find that sellinganybiz.com covers just the Middle East, or are you global? Is this something that you?
Very, very good question. So basically, Sell Anybiz. So after I sold my business, so I did a small run in tech. I tried to build marketplace to people to book home services, and then I gave some time to IFSG group. So I converted to a franchising model. No labor, so I just was licensing people and I was giving them tech support and IT support, which is still running. My majority of my focus nowadays is on selling a bits because that's growing very fast. So right now we're in UAE, but we are also working in US and in UK. We're expanding. We are taking more business via the brokers and sellers and buyers in UK and Europe next 10 years. And I believe both of you are baby boomer. and you might need my help to sell your businesses also. Yeah. So a lot of people, the ones that are retiring, in US, it's been estimated, I'm not sure if it's true or don't, 3 trillion worth of business are going to be exchanged hand next step. It's a huge wealth transfer. That's a business ownership that baby boomers, then they don't have any succession. Means that they're going to be more and more businesses. Also, there are about 18,000 business brokers, more or less, in US. And 85% of them are also baby boomers. Means they're also going to retire at the same time as these owners are. So the answer is the different way of doing business, sale, business brokerage, building, which can automate a lot of the processes and take out not 100% in most of the processes, a traditional business broker or business divider out of the process and automate more so you can do more work remotely or without a business broker and set more business.
So, okay, we've got all these businesses being sold. Are they being bought by lead hands that were employees? Are they being bought by ex-corporate people? Are they being farmed somewhere in some AI lab? Where are these buyers coming from?
The majority of the buyers, these businesses are first-time buyers. They just want to leave corporate jobs and become a business owner, entrepreneur. If someone is moving into the country, like for example, in our case of UAE, a lot of people are moving to UAE for different reasons. One of the reason is zero personal tax. A lot of people are moving here from all across the world. So while they're here, and if they have money or they would like to buy a business, majority of 80% of our in US it's a different story. It's a mix of corporate business as well as people who want to leave their corporate job and become a business owner, and very small percentage in the foreign buyers.
So when you're having a business that says, "Hi, I want to either exit, I want to do an exit strategy for my business," how do you? Oh, yeah, that's worth $10. That's worth $100. You know, how do you find that that they're legitimate, they're there, but like bona fide, I guess might be the better word, and not so much that they're trying to hoodwink anybody, but some people might have an illusion that what their business is worth versus, practicality. And how do you address a value, right? And come up with a good fit. It's like buying a home, right? I think my home is worth 2 million. On the market's worth 500,000, right? So there's a reality check. Do you provide that reality check, or is there some other process that you work with?
Yeah, great question. In small business acquisitions, so I'll tell you, basically, the companies we mainly target SMEs, not the very large companies. They have a slightly different valuation method. So we use mainly asset-based valuation, ROI-based. So asset-based is if business is not making money, if it's not to go. So we estimate the value of the assets which are in business and maybe a goodwill. Business has a track record and stuff, and if the business has a potential turn around to be a profitable venture. But so this is the method is used. And then on the other hand, if this business is cash positive, net EBITDA is positive, then we apply ROI, return on investment. That could be 3 to 4 multiple of their annual EBITDA plus in its asset. That's to combine those, it would become a business valuation. So these are the two metrics we use. But on a larger transaction, we use a discounted cash flow method. Business is not making money, but it has a great future potential. So we built a financial model for that business. And that model will basically show that would be the future revenue, future earning of that business. And then we discount that with certain, percentage, keeping the risk and inflation and all that. And then in the end, we assume a valuation on assumptions based that, okay, we assume this business would do this, hence the valuation of this business is that.
So when you are making this marriage between the seller and the buyer, do you vet the buyers? How do you make sure that the people check out? Is that your process, or is it random, or is it the seller's problem? How's that work?
So basically, the buyer, what we do is mainly we do KYC on the buyer, of course. We ask the buyer certain questions, and one of the questions, proof of funds as well. We do a little bit of check, but now we're doing this for so many years, and every day we receive about 50 to 60 buyers leads on our platform. So, I mean, I will talk to someone for less than 2 minutes, and I can tell you if this person is going to buy a business or not. If he's going to buy a business, how long he's going to take to buy a business, and if he has the money or not. So it's pretty. All our teams are very well experienced. So with the experience, meeting with so many people every day, we have about 50 meetings across our teams, all our teams. Yes, we do KYC, as well as we are experienced enough to understand buyer's motivated the buyer to acquire it.
How do you pick a side?
Good question. So we don't pick a side. We just try to be fair. I mean, I would say when the good deal for me as a broker, the advisor, when neither party is happy, when the buyer thinks I overpaid for the business and seller think that I could have got. If either one side is happy, means it's not a good deal for the other side. Always make sure that both of them are not a good deal. I don't have to pick a side.
Do you find that sometimes people will come to you and say, listen, I'm not looking to sell just yet, but what do I need to do to make myself right? So I look optimal, a year to 2 years from now, or maybe in 5 years. Do they come to you and ask for that advice and that guidance?
Yes, people, they do ask. I've been asked this question a number of times. Very, not as much as it should be, because business owners, they don't plan their exit. Majority of the business owner, they exit like I did, unplanned. If I had planned my business exit, I could have get 5 times more what I got, because I just exited because I had a personal situation. Percent of the business owner, they exit, and then they don't plan their exit for one reason or another, not because they are planned or they know, but they just wanna. Yeah, so people who plan their exit, who are smart enough to plan, yes, they come, they ask, we advise, then they exit. And I recently helped a client. They want to sell a few restaurants. They came to me and said, okay, we're gonna sell it. So what we want? I said, no, your business is not worth that much. If you want this much, these are the things you need to do. It would take 6 months or a year, and then I can sell you that much. Then they listened. They did exactly what I told them. They came back. It was double the valuation they were expecting, and they spent very little amount, to uplift that value. They did exactly, and after 1 year, we sold on that value, which I told them that we can sell if you do certain things, and it's fantastic. So if all business owners do this, they can get more value. They could certainly get a buyer, and yeah. So not everybody, not everyone wants to spend money on things, because everything comes from cost, right? Wayne doesn't work for free, right? If somebody asks for a business coaching, he's not going to say, yeah, I'll give you coaching for free, right? He's going to charge money for it. I'm not willing to pay to, get coaching from Wayne. So means he can't help me, right? So similarly, if I give a list of things to do to a business owner, it's going to come with cost. Either if it's a financial cost to an accountant or an attorney or a legal documentation, whatever it is. And the business owners, they don't feel that necessary. That's why they don't plan their exit.
So when somebody comes to you and they think their business is worth X and they're pretty excited about it, and you've shown the metric and they tell you it's a hockey stick and all that exciting things, and they say, well, I really don't want to sell, I want a franchise. Can you help them do that, or is that a different skill set?
No, it's not. We have 4 types of listing. So we started with business sales. As we realized, some of our buyers, they prefer running business and then less risk. So there are a few things, which are, I would say are global stats. But if you start a business, you have 80% chance of failure and 20% of success. If you buy a business, that becomes 50-50 or 60-40. You still have 50% of chances of failure, 50% of success. You increase your chances by 30-40% of your success because you bought a running business. And it's still not 100%, but your chances are much higher. Or 60 or 50%. If you buy a successful franchise, ours becomes 80% of success, 20% of failure. And that 20% also can be reduced by getting a right franchise, right brand, a successful brand. That's the first thing. So we realized this. Yeah, we should have. So now we have over 30 brands we represent in UAE. In franchising, so we ask the buyer, do you want to buy a franchise? Buy. Says we give them. After that, we have two other things. We do also commercial stuff. People who want to start from scratch, we also help them to find an office or retail space to start from scratch and help them to find licensing and all that. Plus, we also recently started digital businesses like SaaS-based, perhaps e-commerce. So we have brick and mortar business, franchise, digital business, as well as commercial spaces. So these are the four types of listings we have now.
It sounds like you have a real estate bucket in that story. I mean, real estate by itself is its own animal, right? Like, if I run a business, brick and mortar, I'm going to put a restaurant in place. Do I lease? Do I own? If I own, how do I bring money into it? And if I franchise it, sometimes even in the franchise operation, the franchise owns the hard asset and the person buying it just owns the franchise operations. Is that part of the overall stream of activity that goes on with your space?
In UAE, I mean, the majority of business owners, they prefer to lease, not buy. Yeah, so it works differently. The business owner in that cap, because mortgage is not very common here. Like I think in Canada, I know UK, it's easy to buy a space or mortgage and then own the space over the period of time. Okay, so instead of paying rent, you own that real estate. But here, a majority of the business owners, they would like to lease. So the reason why we do real estate is because if we can't find a suitable business for acquisition, so we give an option to buyer that if they want to lease a space and start from scratch, we can help them.
So, Tahir, some of your journey has been very specific and you made good decisions and bad decisions. And other things you've distilled down that are repeatable. What advice do you have for a startup entrepreneur?
Advice to start up an entrepreneur is to start, basically. I mean, take initiative, do things. That's one. So execute your ideas. That's the biggest advice I give. Majority of the startup entrepreneurs, they just have an idea in there, execute, test your work, execute it, take risks. Of course, calculated risks. You don't want to be in trouble or you don't want to take risks. It's a chance of risk. Of course, you need to see, but take risks, take great risks.
Do you have a final thought to give to keep them encouraged on their journey?
Final thought of keep encouraging your journey. Teach yourself for holiday every now and then. Go somewhere every 2 months, 3 months, or a week. Take time off. That would really, really help you. Some of the best ideas I got was when I was on holiday. So if you're a busy entrepreneur, you're working 15, 16 hours a day, 12 hours a week, try to take some time off, travel around. So then you're going to get your best idea, and then you're going to come back. You're going to be super energized. I don't know if it works for everybody, but it works for me very well.
Well, listeners, get a hold of you, Tahir.
Yeah, you can come to Dubai. Take an Emirates flight, which flight directly from Toronto. Take 15 hours, and I'll pick you up from Dubai.
But if someone wants to reach out to you to buy a business, other than going for, a road trip's not a bad thing. I think a road trip would be pretty awesome. I've not been to the Middle East in my life. Yeah. That would be a blast. But if someone wanted to reach out to you and wanted to, looking to sell a business or buy one.
So if you don't want to travel all the way to Dubai, then look me up at LinkedIn. Tahir Kashif. It's very easy. I'm very active on LinkedIn. About 25,000 people with LinkedIn. But check me out on TikTok. I'm very active with TikTok. I have a podcast as well on YouTube, Just Business Talk. So business in Dubai, as well as YouTube and Spotify. So you just Google my name, Tahir Kashif, and I'm everywhere.
I want to say thank you to Tahir Kashif, my co-host Wayne Pratt, and you, the Knack for Business listeners. So from pizza shop paycheck to building multi-million-dollar companies, that's Tahir's backstory. And you know what? Those are lessons learned. Those are valuable lessons learned, even setbacks from physical health. Tahir is the person to reach out to if you're looking to sell a business, you want to buy a business, maybe you want to go to the UAE, go for a road trip. What perfect way, and a friendly gent to connect with.
To reach the podcast hosts, email them at info@creativeinsight.com or by the website creativeinsight.com, spelled KREATIVISIGHT.com. To reach Wayne at his email, wayne@motive8u.ca, that is MOTIVE, the numeral 8 and the letter u.ca, or his website, motive8u.ca. If you would like to be a guest on this podcast and share your knowledge, let us know. We would also appreciate your feedback on the content or format. Check the show notes for more details. For these podcasts, we like to acknowledge the support and thanks to the following people. Carl Richards from Podcast Solutions Made Simple, a renowned podcast expert. Fred Crouch, who is the Property Wizard podcaster, where Bernie is a co-host. Jovan Strika from At Hive, a co-working space that is more than just a space. Then Melanie Weber, Bernie's invaluable business partner, and Wayne Pratt from Motive8U Inc., who serves as both a coach and co-host of these podcasts. Disclaimer. Please note that the Knack for Business podcast episodes are meant solely for educational and general informational purposes. The information and opinions contained within are not intended to be professional advice on any subject matter. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by the participants are their own personal beliefs and do not represent the views of the podcast hosts or any affiliated organizations. It is important to note that this podcast is not a replacement for consulting with certified experts in your area who possess knowledge of your unique situation. The hosts of the podcast, along with any participants or affiliated groups, do not take responsibility for any actions taken or not taken based on the information presented in this episode. It is highly recommended that individuals seek guidance from their own personal advisors in fields such as accounting, law, or other pertinent areas prior to undertaking any actions or making decisions that may impact their financial, legal, or other aspects of life.